Hi Radhika. Thank you for joining me today. And on such a very short notice, I'm glad that you joined me. Please introduce yourself to all the students out there.
Thank you for having me here, Priyanka. My name is Radhika Bansal, and I'm a third year student pursuing BTech in Computer Science and Artificial Intelligence at IGDTU. And a little bit about me, I was born and brought up right here in Delhi. And this summer, I had the incredible opportunity to intern with Uber as an Uber STAR intern. Previously, I've also been a research intern at our university and have published an international conference paper. And I also got the chance to be a part of the very exclusive Google V Scholarship program intended for first year students. And yeah, I've had valuable experiences in hackathons, ideathons, community initiatives, and I'm looking forward to explore and contribute more.
I'm so proud of you. So many achievements. One international conference paper and V Scholar as well, and then Uber as well. Like your parents must be proud of you very much. So today we'll be talking completely about Uber C++ and Uber Star Intern. So my first question would be, what is Uber C++ and Uber Star, and what is basically difference between both of them?
So, Uber C++ is basically an initiative. The idea behind that was to provide an opportunity for second year students to meet Uber representatives, business leader, HR folks, and understand what a career at Uber looks like. Like what kind of work culture is there at Uber, what kind of like projects Uber is working on, and stuff like that. To give you an idea into like what software engineering at Uber is. So Uber C++ is a networking event, and it's the first step if you want to be an Uber Star intern. Uber Star is basically the name of the internship that is meant for second year folks.
All right. That was very awesome to hear all about that. Since you talked about Uber C++ and Uber Star, was there any stipend for Uber C++ or Uber Star, any of them, or any other perks that you would like to highlight?
Yeah. So Uber C++ was the networking event. There was no stipend for that event, but it was complete, like all logistics were looked into by Uber, our stay, our travel, our accommodations, and they made everything super comfortable for us. And they flew us to Hyderabad. And I think that the perk there would be like getting an insight into the culture. I understood a lot about how things work and like what they're expecting, what Uber's mission is. And that also helped me in understanding what kind of candidates they're looking for. So I think that was overall very helpful. And also because we got to chat with like leaders and there was like an ideathon as well. So overall it was very insightful and helpful. And for the Uber Star internship, yes, there was a stipend. So I was an intern for 2 months. So there was a monthly stipend as well.
Oh, so that was nice that you got a lot of exposure that too in second year of your BTech. So moving ahead, what is the eligibility criteria for Uber C++ and Uber Star would be the next step then?
Yeah. So Uber C++ is meant for second year women engineering students or second year students who identify with any disabilities. So initially it was only for women, but from my year it was also extended to people who identify with disabilities. And they only, it's also an on campus opportunity. So they only go to like, I think in our year they went to like 19 top engineering colleges across the country.
Okay, so this is for second year students. No first year and no third years are allowed.
No. If you're in a dual degree, then third year students are also allowed. If you are in a, say, 5 year degree, then third year students are allowed for Uber C++. But basically, you cannot be in your pre final or final year.
Is there any criteria on the CGPA? Like there is a bar कि इससे कम CGPA वाले बच्चे we won't allow to sit, and or any backlogs criteria that backlogs are not allowed?
I don't think so. The criteria for shortlisting was a coding round, and I think that was the only criteria. They asked us for our basic details. They sent us a test link. I think the platform at our time was Code Signal, and डेटा स्ट्रक्चर बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस थे प्रोग्रामिंग राउंड था उसके बेसिस पे ही था सारा सिलेक्शन आई डोंट थिंक सीजीपीए वाज गिवन एनी पर्टिकुलर प्रेफरेंस
All right. तो कितने rounds थे? Like one you mentioned was coding round. Was there any further coding round या फिर any interview, technical interview or HR interview? Anything that you would like to mention?
So the coding round is basically the criteria for getting into C++. So they go out to these 19 colleges, say, and they conduct a coding round. And based on that, they select the top performers from that particular coding round, and they get a chance to attend the Uber C++ event. Only the participants of Uber C++ event get an opportunity to give an interview, which is for the Uber STAR internship. That interview is a hiring manager round. Because we already have given a coding test for C++, that interview is specified to be a 30 minutes hiring manager round.
All right. So there was no coding round for Uber Star, and what was the level of questions that were asked in the coding round for Uber C plus plus, and what were the most probable topics? Like second year में इतना DSA नहीं आता होता है, that too because हम first year से just आए ही होते हैं. तो what was the level of questions that they expect from us?
Yeah. So even I was very like I had the same doubts. I was like, इतना ज़्यादा नहीं पढ़ा है मैंने भी DSA. So I gave it my best shot. I think there were 3 programming questions, and they focused on fundamental data structures. So not very high level questions. I think 2 out of the 3 were easy to medium level questions, and one was slightly difficult. The common topics were hash maps, stacks, and dynamic programming for my test. And honestly, I wasn't expecting. So the easy to medium questions, I was able to get them. But the third question tha, I couldn't get all test cases. So I was honestly not expecting to clear it. But apparently, that question was genuinely really tough. So I got in. So I think just start preparing keep your fundamentals strong and start preparing DSA. And if your fundamentals are clear, you'll get in.
Okay, so any tip for the students how to prepare and what resources to refer that you referred in your journey, or any other useful resource, any other useful tip that you would like to mention to all the students out there?
So, first of all, I think, like we've discussed, focus on the fundamentals of data structures, and also like brush up on your core CS concepts, because some people were asked the same in their interviews as well. And mostly for my interview, the focus was on my projects. Like my interviewer really went deep into like the implementation of my projects, why I used a particular tech stack or a library. And they asked me about my experiences in hackathons because I had mentioned that on my resume. They asked me about working in teams, taking feedback. So most of the focus during the interview was on my people and project skills. So know everything on your resume. That is very important. Think about what you want to talk about. And also, I would suggest you can read up a little bit about Uber and like developments at Uber, because that will help you connect with the company and reflect onto why you want to join that company. So that helps sometimes. Uh, and besides that, when you're like explaining your projects, make sure to like include the star, like use the star methodology. So you can like include the situation, task, action, and result. You can use numbers to like justify your say results or optimizations. That always helps. And since it's an interview, you should, I think, prepare a good introduction and think about something that you'd like to ask the interviewer in case you get an opportunities too. So I think those would be my preparation notes.
Those were very deep insights. Thank you so much for Radhika for sharing those. And now moving ahead, how was your experience at Uber in the C++ program and then as an Uber Star intern?
Yeah. So C++ was like, I think, an experience of a lifetime, because we flew on, I think around 29th March we flew there to Hyderabad. And as I said, Uber looked into all logistics, so we didn't have to worry about anything. And then the next day we had like a full packed agenda. There was a welcome note. We met with a lot of leaders from Uber, and they talked to us about some exciting things Uber was working on, and they talked about their own roles. Then they also shed some light on like diversity and inclusion at Uber. There was a segment about values at Uber, and that was all really inspiring, because I think the scale that Uber operates as at is really impressive. And I think a very inspiring segment was the fireside chat with women leaders, where we got to ask them one-on-one doubts and questions, and they shared their experiences, they shared their insights, the challenges they faced, and that was very inspiring for me. And another fun thing that happened at the C++ event was an ideathon. So that was my favorite part. So they split us into like teams of 5 people, and every team was like people from different universities. and each team got an Uber employee as a mentor. And within 90 minutes, we like worked upon some ideas and we presented a full on presentation to the panel of judges, which were the leaders at Uber. And I think that was really fun. And our team got the second position also. So I was very happy. And that was a very enriching experience. And we had a couple of ice breaking sessions. We had like an office visit tour kind of thingy. So I think it was overall really fun and insightful. And I felt like I was geared up for the interview after that event. So Uber STAR internship was beyond anything I'd imagined. Like this was the first time I was interning anywhere, so it was a very new experience. I was in the Bangalore office, and first of all, the office was really cool. And there were so many thingies around the office. Like there was a gaming zone, there was like a TV, there's everything there, and you have proper desks and everything. It's very fascinating, and like it motivates you to work really. And during the internship, like the project that I was working on was really significant. Like a lot of times what happens is that you get a project that's like a side thingy that is going on, but at Uber I think most of the interns were working on projects that were going on in the team during that time, and I think that was really interesting. And besides that, not just like in a technical scope, but when you're working on site, you learn a lot in a broader professional and corporate context. I think talking with the employees there, talking with other interns there, presenting your work to leaders, all of that adds to your confidence and learning experience. And I was even interacting with like international teams, so it was really fun. And the team that I was working with, in fact everybody that I interacted with at Uber, they were really very supportive. uh they were always ready to assist me, and they like made me feel like a part of the team from day one. I never felt like I was a kid interning there. I felt like, okay, I belong here, I'm going to work my best, and I wanted to genuinely try my best and do my best there. And my manager and mentor both were really really helpful, and they gave me some very constructive feedback as well. So overall I think in those 8 weeks I had an exceptional experience.
First of all, congratulations that your team stood second in that ideathon, and seems like you worked in Uber as a family, like you were a part of a family, and the work culture, the environment seems so cool. That reflects in your personality now. So, my next question arises from here. Radhika before Uber She Plus Plus and Radhika after Uber She Plus Plus and Uber Star. What changes do you see in that, Radhika?
I think before Uber C++, I didn't really think I'd get an internship in second year, and I was definitely not prepared in any way. Even when I was going for the internship, I was flying to Bangalore. I thought that, I'm a second year student. I don't know as much as, say, a third year student or a full time employee would know. And I was very anxious. But once I got there, once I settled in, I understood my project. I grew more confident, and obviously technically speaking, I did things that I did not imagine myself to do. I worked on a project, so I can't share a lot of details, but like I was optimizing the testing time, and I think it was a very important project, and they let interns handle it, and I was able to add some value, and I did not think I would be able to do that. So overall growth wise, I think I grew technically. I learned how to communicate with employees and team members. Like, you have to ask for help sometimes and reach out to people, so that is important. And I think overall confidence and personality wise, I really grew.
Anything that you would like to say to all the students, like why should they choose Uber over any other company, like that you have worked there as an intern and as a Uber She Plus Plus mentee as well. So anything that you would like to suggest, that this is the best part about Uber, this is why you should join Uber, and this is why you should work hard for Uber She Plus Plus and try to get into Uber.
So Uber is a very dynamic company, and I learned the scale that they operate at, the pace that they operate at, and it's really impressive. I learned about that during this She Plus Plus event, and the way their mission is basically to make transportation and mobility easier, reliable, and safer, which is something we can resonate with. We all have used Uber, so we understand what they're working for. And besides that, I think the people at Uber, as I've mentioned, they were all so supportive, and like they're encouraging, and also they're constantly pushing themselves and their boundaries as well to be innovative. And I think that is something that was really appealing to me. And besides that, I think all the perks, the stipend, the office, everything is really cool. So that is obviously an added benefit. And yeah, the projects that we were working on were interesting, the people were interesting. So I think those are the reasons why you should really look forward to this opportunity.
It seems like a complete package of like growth, enjoyment, and a complete exposure to the industry. We have talked about eligibility. What is the time duration of the year when the Uber C++ rolls out its forms, and when can one start preparing? Before how many months one should start preparing all that part?
So I think this opportunity comes around February, like the coding round, the very first round was, I think, the last week of February. So I think a good time to start would be a few months before that, because practicing and understanding DSA fundamentals can take some time. You don't have anything specific to prepare for the coding round besides your DSA. So I would say a few months is good enough. And February end is the coding round, and I think within 10 days or so we heard if we were shortlisted for the She++ event. She++ event occurred, I think, March end, 29th March, 30th March, something like that. And when we came from that, our interviews were scheduled in the very next week. And I think by the second week of April or the third week of April, we knew if we were shortlisted for the internship opportunity.
Thanks a lot, Radhika, for joining me today and giving such beautiful insights. Those were really very helpful, and for taking out time on very short notice. Thanks a lot. It means a lot to me.
No problems at all. Thank you so much for having me here.
For everyone, I'll be mentioning Radhika's LinkedIn in the description box, and also she has written a complete article on her experience at Uber C++ and Uber Star. I'll attach that link as well, and you can definitely check that out. That article is super awesome, and we'll meet soon in another exciting video. Till then, bye bye and take care.